They say winning ain't everything. Well, we don't have them type conversations over here, man. Had that conversation with the losers. We trying to win at everything we do. Even in the loss, we don't see defeat. We see a lesson learned. Straight up. Look, I came into this world in 1978. The doc looked me in my face and knew I was something great. 45, 42 Prescott, that's where I'm from. Grew up in the slums around dope dealers and bums. As humble as I was, I adapted to my habitat. In my own lane though, far from where they crashing at. Dumb bar graduate, the game I'd have mastered it. Served in the Navy, look, y'all don't know the half of it. Pops passed in 01, moms passed last year. I know they up in heaven smiling down, crying mad tears, cause they son making it. No telling where I'm taking it. My city been cursed, but I feel that I'm breaking it. Coached at Wayne High in 15 in one state. Seen the fork in the road and went straight. I know what I'm worth, I'm OG King CURT. Brooklyn Nets gaming crew legend, let's work.
Hey, this is OG King CURT, your host of the OG2CENTS podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you who tune in every Sunday. It's truly appreciated. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Also give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, helps us out a lot. Make sure we continue to stand up against all forms of racism and social injustice. This episode is brought to you by Zenni Blocks. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks virtual clear blue blockers. It's important to protect your eyes from the harmful blue light from your digital screens so you'll have less eye strain, and that makes for better sleep and performance. Check them out at zenni.com/gaming. Follow them at Zenni Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. This episode is episode 29, the Black Hokage.
Hold on. You're not gonna just start the show and jack my name up, dog. Come on, bro.
Well, help me out.
Hokage,
the Black Hokage.
They gonna kill you in the comments for that, dog. It's like, oh, you don't watch anime?
I watch it, but I always screw the intro up. But the Black Hokage.
Yes, sir.
One of my favorite content creators. He's a gamer, content creator, podcaster, man of many talents, have over 628,000 YouTube subscribers, 144,000 Twitch followers, 127,000 Twitter followers, and over 21K Instagram followers. There's influencers and then there's influencers. He's witty. Mad talented, calls himself a total geek and hilarious content creator. We met at the Decoy Games Presents Game On, celebrating Black excellence in gaming. It's truly an honor to have him here today on the show. So without further ado, the Black Hokage.
There you go. Hey, I wish you would have asked me that before you recorded the show. You didn't know how to pronounce it.
But that even fits more into this show because, like, you could, every time I watch your content, I laugh my ass off, man. Like, and that mess up, allowed you to come in and add more to it. So I'm not taking that out. I'm keeping that in. Like, I was gonna ask you, but for the fact that I screwed it up, we created some content out of it, so I'll take it.
For sure. Everybody call me TBH though. Nobody call me Hokage. Everybody call me TBH. But we met at the Black Decoy event. The man just pulled up on me. He was like mad humble. And it's rare that somebody comes up to me and speaks to me because a lot of times people say I come across as like intimidating. And that's never the case. A lot of times I just be chilling and like they'd be intimidated. But he came up, he was mad respectful. I was like, yeah, I just followed him on Twitter. So we met at the Black event. We got a Black podcast. It's a beautiful thing. Honestly, I tied my do-rag too tight last night, so I got a line on my head. This is the blackest podcast on the internet. Let's go.
Hey, so just jumping right into it. I just want you to tell your story and how you got to where you are.
Okay, for sure. So I started off as a YouTuber. I would say these days, like I'm more known for Twitch because I kind of shifted focus over the past couple of years in that. But I started off as a YouTuber, and the reason I got into YouTube was I'm gonna keep it 100. I looked around the market space. Okay, are we going into the full story?
Yeah, let's go into the full story.
All right, so my first YouTube channel was 2007. I was 17. I was still in high school. And I was doing voiceovers of cartoons. Kind of like, you remember, do we curse on here? I didn't ask you.
Yeah, you can cuss.
Okay. I was doing voiceover
How can
work.
I have you on and you not cuss? Like,
no, because I like to be respectful. I'm, and y'all know, if y'all come over and check over my content, I talk a certain type of way.
Yeah, he gets to it.
But when I'm on other people's platforms, I always try to be respectful of their content. So like I always ask, do you curse and stuff like that. But yeah, 2007, I was doing voiceovers of cartoons on that YouTube channel. Like, you remember the old cartoon, I'm the Juggernaut Bitch, and they used to voice over like the Peanuts and stuff like that. I used to just like redub cartoons, and I grew that channel to like 60,000, but I was getting hit with copyright strikes. So 2012, I ended up dropping that channel. It's still there if you want to look for it. It was Cornelius08. I dropped that channel. I made a video, one last video. I was like, hey, I love gaming. I know I haven't talked about it on this channel, but that's what I want to do. So 2012, I opened up my gaming channel. And what's the name? The reason I opened the gaming channel is because I do love gaming and tech and anime and stuff, but I also looked at the market, if we're being totally honest, and the market was nothing but white boys. There was nobody who made content like that looked like me. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, it's not to come across as like arrogant, but I personally felt like I could do content better than them. So I got myself on YouTube, and I felt like the lane was open. I started learning how to edit videos. I caught a blessing. I used to be a preschool teacher in my past life.
Dope.
And I love working with the kids, but that stuff don't pay enough money. That stuff about teachers having to pay out of their pocket for supplies and stuff, that's real. I caught a break. I got called into the office one day, and I thought I was in trouble with my boss. And turns out I wasn't. It turns out they had been messing up my payments, and they owed me $3,000 in back pay.
Oh, wow.
So they cut me a $3,000 check right there. It was like $3,200, something like that. And I had that moment. I don't know, how old was I? I was 20 something. I was 21, 22, something like that. I had that moment. I was going through what I call the get fresh phase.
Right.
So like, I'm not gonna lie, I was spending my money on clothes and stuff, dumb shit. But I had that epiphany. I was like, man, look, this job is cool. It makes decent money. I do like what I do, but I was like, this is a dead end job. Like, this is a stepping stone. This is not where I want to do in my life. So I was like, this is a blessing. I was like, I could take this and spend this on clothes, or take my girl out to a nice restaurant or something at that time, or I can invest it. And I chose to invest in myself, and thank God I did. Because 12 years later, it's finally starting. I'm gonna give it a buck. I just started making money like in the last maybe year or two, like some serious money. I ended up buying a MacBook and a camera, and then I got on YouTube, self-taught myself how to edit, everything like that, and just kind of put my head down and grinded to the point where I was able to quit my job. And then I went full-time, and I've been a full-time content creator 7 years now. And I've been a content creator for 12 now. Well,
I'm surely glad, bro. Like I said, it's truly from the heart. I stay entertained no matter what it is that you're involved with. And I do check out the Twitch as much as I can when I'm not caught up. But where did you get your sense of humor from, man?
The humor. Oof. All right. So I come from a different era, man. Like, you're a little bit older than me, but I feel like my era, I was born in 1990. I feel like my era was the last era where like we went outside. There was internet, but it was a luxury back then. Nobody had it. So we still had to go outside. And like, I don't want to say my last name on this podcast, but like, I have a goofy last name, and people used to flip it, and they used to call me Corey Smallballs. So like, I was getting bullied. And one day I think it was like 6th or 7th grade. I just got tired of that shit. I was like, I'm not going to be a victim. So I started getting into it. I started roasting with everybody, bro. I hopped in it, and I just got really good. I love stand-up comedy. That's another thing. Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Bernie Mac, Patrice O'Neal, Paul Mooney. Oh, I love Paul Mooney.
Right.
So like, I studied all the greats, kind of picked up some of the mannerisms and how I can apply it to myself. And I just started getting in there and talking shit. I know that like people are like this whole stop bullying thing, but like, and I agree, bullying is bad. But for me, because I chose not to be a victim, it helped me out. By the 8th grade year, like, people left me alone. And
yeah, we didn't have these campaigns in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, you had to survive. And kids is mean, bro. Kids is mean. So like, I always tell people when it comes to the content creation side of things, like, they ask me, it's always hard for me to answer how they can improve their content, because for me, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I feel like it's a God-given talent. Some of it was people did have to push it out of me, but like I have been entertaining people my entire life. It wasn't something that I did for the internet. Like I was class clown. There was literally a moment. I remember my senior year in high school. There was literally a moment I got kicked out of government class for a month because she couldn't control the room because I was literally making them laugh so much. And the funny part is, like, my last day of my senior year, that same AP government teacher, she told me that, like, yeah, you got on my nerves, but she's like, I expect to see you on Comedy Central one day. It just be like, she still respected what I did, look. Because I was a smart ass, right? I would tell jokes, but then like she would hate me because I always had the answer to stuff. Because I love learning is cool. I love learning too. And even though I can talk a lot of shit, I would always still be paying attention because I think you need to know your past in order so you don't repeat it.
No, facts. And I think that's why when I came up to you and we started talking, I felt like the synergy because, you know, sometimes you can have similarities with somebody and not even know them, but that's why the vibe is so good because me, myself, I love stand-up comedy. And one of the big things about stand-up comedy is not just a joke, it's the delivery and the laugh of the comedian. And that's typically what caught my attention because after that day, I started watching your YouTube and started coming into your chat and different things. Now, mind you, and I wanna put this on record, I'm only sub to 2 people on Twitch, and that's you and Jordy.
Appreciate that.
And yeah, and matter of fact, the payment just hit yesterday. So,
appreciate that.
But yeah, I mean, because I'm truly entertained every time I come into y'all streams, and to me, that's for me as a fan and supporter, that's what I want to feel when I'm patronizing someone. Is like I'm actually getting my money's worth, and I even feel that for myself. I don't want people just to like me because they like me. I want them to like me because I'm doing a great job at what I do. So how did you get your name?
Okay. So my original name on YouTube when I started my gaming channel was Modern War Negro. If you go back and look at some of my old videos, like that intro actually comes up. And like, it was because I was playing a lot of Call of Duty and it, like, I'm gonna be honest, I was like 18, 19. It sounded funny. But then I got older. I changed my name maybe like 6-7 years ago to the Black Hokage because I used to always do in my intro. I used to be like, "Yo, what up? It's Modern War Negro, aka NWN, aka the Black Hokage." That was like my way of letting people know that I liked anime. I would always call myself that. So when I made the name change, I was like, the Black Hokage makes sense because I was always calling myself that, and it wouldn't sound too crazy for people. But to get like on a deeper level, the reason I also chose that name is because my birthday's on the 8th. I'll be 30. And like, I didn't want people calling me Modern War Negro. Like, it was funny to me at 19, but like, it's not, I've literally had brands tell me that like, yo, we can't work with you because of your name or whatever. I was like, it makes sense. It was like, I'm putting like a negative image out there. And then on top of that, I chose the Black Hokage because in anime, not in anime, but in Naruto, his goal is to be the Hokage. The Hokage, in the world of Naruto, there are 5 villages, like 5 major cities, basically. And each city has like a president, a Kage. The Leaf Village, which is Naruto's from, is the Hokage. Then there's like the Raikage, the Tsutsukage. There's different Kages or whatever. His goal was to become the Hokage because that's the most powerful ninja. That's the leader. That's the one everybody looks up to. They make the political decisions and stuff like that. So long story short, it's like my nerdy way of calling myself a leader, basically. I try to transition away from the whole Negro thing into a more positive, like it's like my nerdy way of calling myself a Black King, basically.
No, I like that. I mean, it's growth, like you say. 19, you know, that was cool, but now, you know, you're getting old. You know, as you progress, you know, you elevated yourself. I like that. Passion for anime. How did you get into that?
Actually, I got sick. So, I mean, I grew up watching Toonami. I don't know if you remember that in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Yeah, and like I knew the stuff like Dragon Ball and Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho. But to me, Pokemon. But to me, that stuff was just cartoons. That wasn't really anime to me. I didn't really know what it was until like I got a little bit older. But maybe like 5-6 years ago, I really started getting into it because I got sick. And I had a friend in high school who used to always tell me, well, watch Naruto. And I'm not gonna lie. I dismissed him. I told him I'm not watching that shit because I was like, he used to run around with his hands behind his back and make all them jutsus. I was like, yo, that shit is. I'm a super nerd, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think it's important to be a multifaceted and a dynamic person. Like, so like I try not to lean too much into one area. I like to be able to walk in different rooms. So it's like the way my brain worked is I was looking at, I'm like, yo, if I watch anime, I'm gonna be doing all that weird shit the anime people do be doing. Like, so like I was dismissive of it. But one day when I was older, I had got sick and I was just laying in the bed with like the flu. I had nothing to do. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch Naruto. That shit ended up being fire. And it became, just for clarity, because some people would probably wonder what's my favorite anime. That's not my favorite anime, but it was my gateway drug. And it was like, and like I always appreciate that it was my gateway drug into the medium and the art.
What is your favorite anime?
Code Geass. I love it. Look it up if you ever get a chance.
I'm getting a ton of education in anime now. My friends tried to get me into it more modern day compared to when I was a kid, because it's nothing compared to now as it was when I was growing up. But I'm definitely looking to get into it. You know, you do a lot of reviews for video games and a lot of different type of video games. What are some of your favorite video games that you play?
Favorite game of all time is Mass Effect. If you have not played it, it's one of the greatest RPGs ever. Just great characters, great writing, great combat. You can play through multiple times. I love Zelda, Ocarina of Time. What's the name? What else do I love? I love Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank. I grew up on like platformers, Super Mario. I like cartoony kiddie stuff. I'm not gonna lie. And it's always a very interesting thing because people will be like, yo, like last month I was playing SpongeBob, and that's a platform and it's mad kiddie, and I'm sitting there talking about life and stocks and stuff while I play SpongeBob. Like, but that's what I like. Like,
hey, I think one time I was watching you play Call of Duty, and you was like, "I'm not good at this game. I really don't even like the game." But you made so much humor, and you was talking about. So I forgot you was even playing the game. And that's what I like when going to the chats. Like, you literally like entertain, and people don't even care whether you playing the game great or not. Like,
oh, yeah, I'm not good at games. I always so my ideology is like it's really important for me to provide a good experience to people. Like even the other day, I wasn't feeling really good because I'm on a new diet. I'm on a keto diet now. I'm trying to get right. I'm trying to get sexy. I'm trying to get right, and like I had a headache. So like I only ended up streaming for like an hour. I was like, yo, I'm not feeling good because. And like I was just being transparent. I shut the stream down. I was like, we'll try again tomorrow. To me, it's important to provide a good experience if I'm not feeling great. My ideology is always like I rather give on average. I only stream for like 2 to 3 hours. My ideology is I rather give a good, entertaining experience full of jokes and thought-provoking conversations instead of a lot of people stream for like 8 to 12 hours a day. I don't get it. I could be doing something else with my time. I can get more content to you in 2 hours than they can do in 8, and then I can cut it up and put it on YouTube and spend my time growing in my sleep, basically, creating different types of income. So that's kind of like my ideology in terms of creating content, at least.
Right. Like when you was getting started, what did content creation mean to you? Because I know for me, it was funny because when I started looking at content creators, as I got into the gaming industry, I always just thought of content creators as YouTubers, and that was it. Like I didn't think of anything else surrounding that's created was considered content. And slowly but surely, I've gotten educated over the years, and like podcasting and different things of that nature. But what does content creation mean to you?
It means it gives me the option to make people's days better. That's always the like one of the dopest things. Somebody wrote me. I've had like 3 different soldiers like write me messages before, and one that stood out to me in specific was a few years ago. He told me, he's like, I just wanted to let you know that your YouTube videos helped me get through my tour in Iraq. He's like, there was literally nights where like I could hear like explosions and shit, and like, but I was watching your videos and laughing, and it just kind of reminded me of home. And like when I see stuff like that, man, I'm like, I will never meet that person, but I really appreciated it. And then just last week, somebody had sent me an email literally right after I got done streaming, and he was like, yo. He's like, you were talking about on your stream how like business cards are kind of dated. And like, I always promote, you should create a digital business card that you can keep on your phone made in Photoshop, like a deck, And he made the digital photo card. He put it on his phone, and he ended up getting a job with his local senator, producing art for him or whatever. And he just thanked me. He was like, yo, I put it into work. He's like, don't get it confused. But he's like, just that idea and you putting that in my head, it took me to the next level. And when I see stuff like that, like, I appreciate that. That's what I do it for, to inspire others. And also it makes me feel good too, that I make others feel good. Like, that's my reward. It's not even the money.
No, that's great. I mean, because like for me, I've watched you do a lot of things, and I watch how you do things and different stuff like that. And I implement it in my own way for what I do, because obviously, I don't believe, like, no two people are the same when they're creating content. Everybody has their own unique style, their own audience, and different things of that nature. But I definitely use other people that are bigger than me, smaller than me, or whatever, and try to add something new to what I do. And you definitely provide that for me. And obviously beyond, I remember that tweet when he posted it, and I thought, hell, I never even thought of that. Like, so it was a great idea. And like I said, it's cool that you like to help people beyond yourself.
Representation matters to me too. That's another thing. Like I said, when I first started, like, I see a lot of people complaining in the community is not enough like Black representation on Twitch and YouTube and stuff. And I agree. But it's like, when I started 12 years ago, literally, I was the only like Black person I could think of that was doing like gaming. And then like slowly people started coming along. So it's nice to see kind of the industry evolve, and more people starting to get included. But I still think we do need to get work. We still need work done. But representation was another reason. I wanted to show people that you can do something different besides play basketball and rap.
Right. You know, the funny thing about that, when I go back to that day at the Decoy Games event, is when I looked at the panel, obviously I didn't know everybody on the panel, but when I started looking at it, and then when I seen how actually big you were, I was disappointed in myself that I didn't know who you were. And then and I took it upon myself to, like, once I found out and actually enjoyed the content and everything like that, that I was going to make sure I support it. And in doing so, I believe, I'm with you. It's a lot of people who don't, people of color who create content that don't get the recognition or don't get the opportunities to actually entertain. Because it doesn't always go down to color, but some people just do the job better, and they happen to be a person of color. That's my take on it. I see a lot of people don't get the recognition or don't get the opportunities, and it's unfortunate, but like you're pushing the right envelope, and I hope a lot of people take heed to that. And that's something that even I try to do with my platform, is open up to people to be able to tell their stories, and hopefully have an influence on people who listen and watch.
I think some of it has to do with us being Black, because I've definitely experienced some racist bullshit. I think I even talked about it on the panel. But then I also think some of it has to do with us as Black people. This is I'm really on like a self-improvement type of wave right now. And one thing that I heard one dude speak on, he was saying, we as Black people, we got to get over this whole antisocial thing that a lot of us, like, we too cool for school a lot of times. And like, I can admit that I was on that bullshit when I was younger. And if I can advise anybody, don't be on that. Network with everybody. Like, look at all, like, oh, he plays this, or like, oh, we can't, like, not even trying to find a common ground, I guess I would say. I used to be on that because I come from a different walk of life. Even though I speak very proper, like, my family's from the south side of Chicago. Like, I'm from DC. Like, I still been around that bullshit. So it's like some of that hood booger is still in me. So it's like moving around in them circles full of white people. It was like I didn't know how to talk to them, or like I would just assume they thought certain things about me, and you're projecting that onto. Not everybody's evil, and if you do that, you can stunt your growth. So like, I think we got to work on this whole antisocial thing and just networking with everybody. Just try. You only miss the shots that you don't take.
Nah, I'm glad you said that, because that's something that I talk about all the time. Is because, like, a lot of us have different experiences. Like you say, I always took it, like, I didn't grow up in the hood or anything like that, but that doesn't mean I didn't have family or friends where I didn't visit or spend a night or hang out and witness and see. So our experiences actually, it molds us until we learn a different route and retrain our frame of mind and thought. And that's important for growth. You got your podcast. I think you have a few different versions that you do. And talk about those for a second, because I love the intros to the to the HokageThots.
Where the show where ain't no hoes, but we do think out loud.
Yeah, like
what's the name? All right, so the first podcast I did was started in 2014 with my boys. It was called Gaming Illuminati. It was just me and a group of friends. We used to game together. Still to this day, we're a stream team, do podcasts. We have our own channel, and we're all black except for one Dominican and one Mexican. But we're all people of color, and I purposely did that because I wanted to put my brothers on.
Right.
And we just talk about gaming industry stuff. Be like, it's super nerdy conversations. Talk about publishers. We just recorded one yesterday. We did our top 5 games of the generation for the Xbox One and PS4. Just talk about all the things that are going on in the industry. But I think what makes us different is we're very unbiased and we bring a sense of humor. I think that you're not going to get in another podcast. I think that's dope. And then my solo podcast, I started that about a year ago. I just started that. I just wanted to do something new, to be honest, to shake up and rebrand. And like one day I put out a tweet and I was like, I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of different things, but I was like, do y'all want to hear about that? I was like, I've been thinking about doing a podcast where I just ramble about stuff. Put that tweet out. People were like, hell yeah, do it. So I did it. It's like a lot of times people be overthinking stuff. Just do it, bro. Like Nike says. I contacted an artist. I had like an art, a piece of art in my mind that I wanted to be for the cover for the podcast. Once that was done, I dropped the first episode, and like that has been something that I didn't overthink has been a blessing for me because I ended up meeting somebody who now manages my podcast and goes out and gets ads for it. And it's bringing in a nice chunk of revenue, like life-changing type of revenue. And it's just something that I was just kind of stumbled into. So it doesn't hurt to try nothing.
No, that's dope. Like I said, I definitely love the intros. I mean, even to your YouTube videos and kind of backtracking a little bit because I want to like I said, I want to get more into anime and what to watch. And really, you educated me a lot just in this short little time. But what are some good anime shows to watch?
Everything is subjective. What's good and what's bad. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie. Like I like watching motherfuckers get beat up and shit. Like I'm pretty simple. So I do like some of the mainstream stuff like My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Code Geass. That's not really mainstream, but it's really good. If you want something a little bit more obscure, there's a mafia anime. It's called 91 Days, and that joint is fire. You wouldn't expect it to be. What's another one that I can give you that's more recent? That's what I can think of off the top of my head. Honestly, I have not been watching anime that much this past year. I've been kind of on the grind. I just been kind of casually watching it. I don't really have a lot of time to watch TV these days.
Right, that's enough. That can my little anime starter kit. So I'll check that out. You said a lot already, but just in particular, some advice for people who are looking to become full-time streamers and content creators.
Full-time content creator, first and foremost, before you spend a lot of money on equipment, make sure you like what you're doing. If all you have is like a laptop and a webcam, start with that. Like I see a lot of people that go out and they spend thousands of dollars on equipment and then they find out how hard it is to be a content creator. Just because your favorite content creator makes it look easy doesn't mean it is. That's what the greats do. Serena makes it look easy, but she's a legend. Jordan made it look easy, but it's because he's a great. Okay. So make sure you like what you're doing before you get into it is what I would say. Don't be a level 1 warrior with a level 50 armor is what I always say. You got all this crazy armor on, you don't even know how to swing the sword. So that's what I always tell people. Make sure you like what you're doing. Make sure you have a passion for it, because I think that's one thing that separates me from other people. I think it genuinely shows that I like what I do. And that's what keeps me going through the hard days. The second thing, make sure you learn how to edit. It's a lot of on the streaming side. So like if you want an advantage, you got to learn how to edit. On the streaming side, most people do not know how to edit, so they end up hiring an editor, and like it's expensive to have an editor. It's like $100 a video type stuff. I taught myself how to edit. I just went on YouTube and I looked up Final Cut Pro tutorials. If you're on PC, most people use Adobe Premiere. So then just look up Adobe Premiere tutorials and just start with the basics. Take your time. If you really want to learn it, you're going to take the time. The third thing I would say is understand, if you're starting right now as a content creator, understand you need to be patient. You are behind the curve. Let's keep it a buck here. A lot of people are getting into content creation because they see how much money is involved. When I was doing this, there was no money involved that really. And the reality is you started the race. Like I said, I've been in this game for 12 years. You started 12 years after me. You cannot be upset that you don't have what I have. Just because you've been grinding for 3 months, 6 months. I see a lot of that. I don't know if it's entitlement or just impatience or whatever, but you have to understand you are behind the curve. So the best advice I can give to you is try to come up with something as unique as possible. Most people do not blow up overnight. It very rarely happens. The only person I could think of that recently did it was Dr. Disrespect, I think, on Twitch at least. And that's because he had a very kind of unique thing that he was doing. But most people, so make sure to learn as many skills as possible and explore as many platforms as possible. Too many people limit themselves to one platform. Oh, I just want to be a Twitch streamer. Or I just want to be a YouTuber. No, I do everything. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. Hopefully that doesn't get banned. Twitter. Goddamn Trump. Twitter. So keep an open mind. Collab with people who are around the same size as you. And then also keep in mind, if you want like free stuff, I always tell people like there's a bunch of different websites. So like if you're a gamer and there's keymailer.co, you go there and you log in with your Twitch, your YouTube, whatever you do. And based off your size, like companies will reach out to you and give you free game keys. There's another one called arsenal.gg. If you want some advice on how to get free games, like one of the ways that I used to do it is I open up Steam and like you click on the developer's page and like usually it'll take you to their website. You go to their website, you hit the contact page and send them an email. Hey, I'm such and such. I create this amount of content. This is my following. I would love to work with you guys. Could you get back to me? And I only write like a paragraph, and most of the time they get back to me if you have the following. But that's more advanced stuff. The most important thing is focus on the product. Focus on the product. If the product is good, they're gonna want it. But I think a conversation I think we need to have is most people's stuff is really not that great. And like y'all are too, and it can be great. Like we all can be great. That's not what I'm saying, but it's like the focus is in the wrong place. The focus is on how can I get sponsorships? How can I do this? And it's like the focus should be entertaining your audience. Stop being upset you only have 20 people in your chat. 20 people took the time to come see you. So what, you had 40 yesterday, you got 20 today. There's days where like I'll have like 2,000 people in my chat, and then there's days where I've had 500. And it's like I still act like it's 2,000 people in there. So focus on entertaining people and syndicate your content. There's too many people that just do it on one thing and then they don't put it on Twitter. They don't put it on Instagram. Put your stuff everywhere. Flood the streets, as I like to say. I'm all over the place. I apologize.
I like that because even for me, that's why I say I have content creators, YouTubers that I thoroughly enjoy. Like I say, you, Jordy, I like Swante, I like Agent. Like but it's for the fact that like the entertainment factor is, and I think people overlook that.
I'll say this much. And this more so pertains to like, because I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of times when I be talking about tips and content creation, I'm specifically talking about for like Black people because I want to see more Black people do better. One thing that I do notice when I talk to a lot of Black content creators, if I give some advice, is a lot of them don't study who's already doing it. And like a lot of times they'll know, like I can give you a pass because you weren't aware of me, but it's like I can respect the fact that once you became aware of me, you started paying attention. And a lot of times, like from when I talk to small Black content creators, when I go to events, I'm like, well, are you watching me? Are you watching Agent? Are you watching Berleezy? Are you watching Shofu? I can name plenty. It's not as many as white people, but I can name a handful of Black content creators. And like, if you want to be a doctor, you have to study to become a doctor. If you want to be a content creator, you have to study to become a content creator. So like, even to this day, people who are doing better than me, people who are on the same level, sometimes people who are smaller than me, I study everybody and I figure out what can I make work for myself. Don't come into this thinking, oh, I know everything. Like humble yourself. And you'll find that you'll find more information. So keep an open mind, I'll say.
Yeah, that's coming from somebody of your stature, I mean, that should let people know a lot. I mean, especially for a lot of people who, you have some people who have overnight success, so to speak.
Very rare.
Yeah, and I say that if it's from a range from 6 months to a year, because obviously, like you said, I think a lot of people missed a boat. And it's funny, you told a unique story about you starting 12 years into it. And that was kind of like when I got into it from the 2K side. I was involved in amateur leagues and tournaments on the 2K side 5 years before.
And it paid off. Look at you now. You're the coach now. Like,
and that was before it was even, it wasn't profitable. It wasn't, it wasn't about the money or anything like that. And now people like they want to get into it. And I'm sure a lot of people are passionate about it or whatever. But like you said, they don't take the time to study and look at all the people who did get in and what did they do to actually get in. And that's where the disconnect starts. 2K League. I always ask this question to anybody who comes on, especially gamers. Are you familiar with it, and what's your thoughts on it?
All right, so let's get something straight. I am a casual 2K player. I've been playing it since the Dreamcast, and then I picked it back up. What was the one with Kevin Garnett on it? Was that 08, 09, I think? Yeah. And then I started playing again from there, like consistently, and I really started getting in heavy again, 2K14. But I'm a casual player. I don't know all the special dribble moves. I don't know all the plays, but I'm a super basketball fan though. And I will say the 2K League is dope to watch. From a production standpoint, I was really impressed. I did not expect that. I've been tuning in. I was tuning in heavy season 1 and 2. And I did not expect to see that level of production quality with the shoutcasters and stuff. I didn't know what to expect. But my favorite thing about the league was just watching a bunch of black people walk across the stage during the draft. That shit was dope to me. I was like, look at these kings. Like a lot of these people are coming from, the middle of nowhere. They still living with their parents. And like they grind it, and it's dope to see them walk across the stage as if they were an actual NBA player being drafted by the esports team. So if you ask me, my favorite thing is actually the draft. I just like watching black people prosper. And then I will say one of my critiques though is like, in order for that league to sustain itself, it does need to grow, because I think that the viewership isn't quite there. It's not that it's a bad product, but I think some of that, and this is just from like studying the community, I think we need to support each other better. A lot of times when I pull up to them 2K League games, like the comment section is toxic, dog. It's like 80% of people, oh, I'm better than this player, I should be in the league and this, that. Like, that's cool. But like, do that next season. Like, now that we're here and we have what we have, like, you just need to support it so that it can continue to grow. Like, one thing I was talking about on my podcast yesterday, we were talking about how Ninja announced that he was going to Hollywood. And I said, I can't really see myself seeing a Ninja movie, but I was like, I'm not going to hate either. I still respect the hustle, because the reality is the doors that Ninja opens, I get to walk through. And it's the same thing with the 2K players in the league. Okay, you're better than them. We get it, which I don't think is true. But hypothetically speaking, let's say it is. Next season, try out. Just respect the fact that they opened a door for you, and now you have that opportunity to walk through. Just sit back and enjoy the show, man. Like, and share the content, because it should be doing better. How big the 2K community. That's my only thing that I would criticize. It's the actual community itself. But I think the product is good.
I agree, and knowing that you like, on the outside looking in, your perspective is valuable, and it's funny how it's relatable even for some of us that's inside the circle. So definitely agree with that take. Getting into some real sports for a second, the bubble, and have you been tuned in and watching any
Listen,
games?
Doug, I don't know if I told you, but I'm from DC, but I moved to Florida in January.
Right.
I live in Orlando now.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I remember you. I do remember you telling me that.
Yeah, I live in Orlando now, bro. Nah, dog, I'm not going nowhere, bro. These people down here in Florida are crazy. these Make America Great Again people, I'm good. Don't nobody want to wear a mask. I've been in the house. The only time I go outside is to go get food from the grocery store. It's cool that they brought the NBA back, but I'm a little conflicted with it, because like I feel like the world's on fire. And it's hard for me to like sit down and really enjoy the games. But like I did watch one last night. I don't know. Do you feel like it'll be an asterisk on the championships? Whoever wins the championship this year, do you feel like there'll be an asterisk next to it?
Of course, I think it's going to be some people who throw that out there. I mean, it's untraditional. So definitely, anytime something like that happens in sports, they even if they don't count the asterisk, people still put it there. So I definitely think it's going to be like that. It's been interesting for me to watch some games, because we're not used to seeing NBA teams play under one roof. on the same court, same rims.
No crowd.
Yeah, that part of it. I actually happened. I was a part of the virtual crowd for Brooklyn. I did that one time. I wanted to experience it, but just watching them play on the same court. Cause I said professionals, like they get used to their spots on their own court, on away courts, but now they're playing on the same court. So I'm actually seeing a lot of phenomenal shooting from teams and different things of that nature. But I just like watching hoop. But I know it's different, but I just like watching it. I see a lot of people complaining. I said that on Facebook, a few of my friends, because that's really my platform where I talk to a lot of my IRLs and stuff like that. And they was complaining about it. And I said, you uppity Negroes. Like, y'all, we can't satisfy you. You cried for basketball. We got it back. And I can't get into this or all this. And I'm like, come on. Like, it's still, they got to put the ball in the basket. Like, I mean,
I'll tell you this much. One thing that does concern me is Denver's got Jokic running point guard. And it concerns me because when 2K21 comes out, I can't make a point center. Like, oh my God, dog. I am not trying to hear that shit. There's Jokic. Because they always like to point to one player. Like, he's the exception, not the rule, okay? We can't all beat it. But I feel conflicted because the world's on fire. But at the same time, it's entertainment. I'm not going to complain. It is what it is.
Man, I want to thank you for taking time out to come on my podcast, man. Truly, you humble and everything, but it's an honor for me. I mean, like I said, you're one of my favorite content creators out there, man. What's next for you though? Like, I mean, with everything you got going on and everything you're doing, where you see yourself, in the future?
What's next for me is I have been talking behind the scenes to some companies about representation. I've had some good conversations talking about potentially television, touching some M's and stuff like that. But I don't want to jinx it.
No,
but I do have ambitions. A book. I do want to do that. I want to do a lot. I personally believe there's nothing I can't do. I'm just looking for opportunity, to be honest. That's what I'm looking for. Sometimes one thing I learned from my father is just because you're not interested in it doesn't mean it's not for you. Like, you can catch a blessing randomly. Because like when I was I used to play soccer when I was a kid, and when I got older, my shoulders got really broad and I started putting on muscle. And he was like, "You're gonna be a wrestler." And I was like, I don't want to. I did wrestling in middle and high school. I was like, I don't want to do wrestling. He's like, "No, you're gonna be a wrestler." I turned out being really good at wrestling. And like to this day, like I always say that like I didn't enjoy the experience, but I ended up being team captain, being ranked in the state, got my name in the newspaper and stuff like that. And then also some of the best life lessons I ever learned, and a lot of my work ethic, I actually attribute it from the days when I wrestled in high school. Like, 'cause it's the hardest sport in high school. And that blessing came from the fact that my father could see that was for me, that even though it wasn't for me. So like, I like to keep an open mind. I don't want to limit myself to 2K. If opportunities come from the 2K league, I'm going to go. But if opportunities come from Activision or EA or something, or something in LA with Hollywood, I believe I can accomplish anything. It ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Dope, man. Hey, this I want you to let people know how they can follow you on social media and tune into your content.
So my main platform that like I would recommend coming through to check out is Twitch, twitch.tv/the Black Hokage. If you don't know how to spell that, it's HOKAGE. My Twitter is Mr._I keep it real. Those are the two platforms that I'm most active on. My YouTube is the Black Hokage as well. I appreciate anybody coming through to check out whatever. What's next for you is the real question. That's what I want to know. What are your goals?
I mean, it's funny because we share pretty much the same frame of mind. It's like I feel like I'm capable of doing anything I put my mind to. Obviously I went from gaming, got into podcasting. I'm actually doing some co-hosting on EsportsXTRA that I do Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I've been doing some play-by-play, some stuff I never thought I'd even be doing. So it's just pretty much sky's the limit. I mean, it's funny you mentioned about a book. I actually I shot a documentary.
That's dope.
And actually, this is the first time I've ever talked about it on my podcast because I haven't, COVID
messed everything up.
Hey, I was preparing. I was already getting into the mixing and mastering everything, and actually was going to look to release it after the season was over. And it pretty much stunted that. But That's actually already shot and everything like that. So the book aspect of it, I think I can see probably some years from now, whenever I'm not, if there's a time where I'm never a part of the 2K League, which is I'm not speaking that into the existence, but just any and every opportunity I can get. I mean, COVID is kind of restructuring the world right now. I felt funny asking that question, but for some of us, we're still waking up. We're going at like full throttle, and I think you're one of them, and I'm one of them. So it's like we're just gonna deal with it head on, but we don't know which direction it's gonna shift a lot of things. So it's a tough question to answer, but I'm a dreamer, and I'm gonna keep dreaming and pushing forward. But just trying to be prepared for a lot of opportunities. But mainly, like what you said, is just I spend a lot of late nights studying, reading, watching.
Reading, I'm getting a big into, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's just like getting into those arenas where, and really, I'm 41. I'll be 42 this year, but I'm in. It seems like I'm in a prime of really just focusing on if it's not any good for me, I'm not dealing with it. I'm only focusing on things that's gonna help me prosper and that people around me prosper. So I noticed like having a positive platform. It's a slow grind, but it's the grind that I love.
People love that negativity,
and I appreciate. Yeah, that's the thing. Like if I, I'm gonna keep it real though. Like it's things that I planned on speaking on and talking about, and probably shifting and have a different form of my podcast. But the origin of it is positive. Inspiration, motivation, through people telling their stories and what they do. And like I said, and hoping to influence those who listen. So listen and watch. So I mean, I like to listen and still joke and laugh and talk about numerous things. But overall, I think I've gotten to where I've gotten to is because my positive attitude and just believing that positivity always wins. So that's pretty much for me.
I think like I've been studying a lot like the habits of what it takes to become a millionaire and a billionaire, because that's one of my goals. I'm trying to touch M's. Like I live comfortably, but like it's not enough. And one of the habits is, and like I feel like I implement this, but I'm just kind of putting this out into the universe for people who do achieve their goals. They don't tend to smell the flowers. You can celebrate your victories, but like, celebrate for today and then tomorrow is back to work. It's too many people that accomplish something and then they want to sit around for like weeks at a time and then be upset trying to rest on their talents or whatever. So don't ever stop to smell the flowers. Don't ever become content. And also I wanted to put out another goal out there just into the universe. Like I'm trying to take over Orlando now that I'm down here. Well, hopefully when this COVID stuff is over. I couldn't find a way to infiltrate the 2K League in DC. I wanted to take over DC, but I want to find a way to get into working in some way, somehow working with the Orlando Magic organization, whether it's with the 2K League or the actual team. Like I was thinking about maybe finding some way to shoot some type of documentary, even if I have to do it for free. I'm just trying to expand my resume. That's another thing I've been watching with self-help videos. Humble yourself, in a sense that like Pokemon's editor, Fedmeister or whatever, the way he became her editor is he just asked if she needed an editor. And she was like, yeah, but she can't pay him. He was like, that's fine. He's like, I just believe in you. Basically, he took an internship and she blew up and it paid off. So like I'm open to doing that type of stuff. If I have to follow around the Orlando Magic's 2K team and kind of shoot their day-to-day process and like a documentary from them, like if I got to do it for free, like I'm just trying to expand the resume. I'm trying to take over. I'm just putting that into the universe. I'm trying to take over Orlando.
Nah, I'm with that. I mean, I've done the same thing. I've had opportunities like that. I've took on roles where I didn't get paid initially. Actually, my walk through the 2K League, my first initial position, I didn't get paid for it or anything like that. And then now here we are. And then what I do is I go back and reach into the community and bless people with the same opportunities. Like even people who help me with the podcast and different things like that. Yeah, I do pay them, but I also tell them like this is us. Like if this expands, I'm taking everybody with me because this is who helped get me to where I'm at. So
relationships are everything. Relationships are the real currency.
Without a doubt, man. You done dropped so many jewels on here, man. Like, hey, it's gonna be a lot of sound bites for this, man. But it's definitely needed, man. And I appreciate your time. We'll go ahead and wrap this up, but
for sure.
Just like I said, it's an honor for me, man. Like I enjoy hearing people's stories and having people on, man. I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, man.
I appreciate you even taking the time speaking to me and even inviting me. It was dope conversation. And hopefully this video booms. Hopefully it booms.
I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to this episode, whether you're listening or watching. Remember to follow OG2CENTS podcast on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube, but now also iHeartRadio. So definitely appreciate that. Follow me on social media at OG King CURT. That's on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Go to www.ogkingcurt.com for everything OG King CURT and the podcast. Shout out to my team, Dave at the 2K Zone, Strider Visuals, Box Graphics, and Cy Evermore. Check out the 2K Zone shows, 2K Zone Roundtable every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. EST, and 2K Center Stage, that's every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Wednesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch me every Wednesday and Thursday on EsportsXTRA at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 1 p.m. That's with host Larry Ridley, the crew, Renee Montgomery, Antonio Williams, Derwin Royale, and Kevin Mamuzet. That's Compete Forever on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Make sure you tune in to next week's episode. And remember, if it makes sense, it's an OG2CENTS. OG out.
Hey.
Put this work in, fellas. And much, much, much love to the entire 2K community for always showing me love. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. Yeah.